So, if you've been following the channel for quite some time, you know two obvious things about me. One, I am a big fan of Mortal Kombat, not really sure what gave that away, and I am also a big advocate for guest characters in fighting games. One of my biggest uploads of all time was ranking all of the Mortal Kombat guests from worst to best. Hell, I've even dabbled and talked about guest characters I would want to see appear in a future Mortal Kombat game. Love it or hate it, guest characters really make the fighting game stand out a bit more, as people point and go, oh wow, that person's in the game. Now rarely do we hear about guest characters that didn't make the cut, but within the past few years, Ed Boon talked about some characters that they had thought about including, but the deal had fell through in some way for various reasons. One of the most infamous guest characters to almost join Mortal Kombat happens to be one of my favorite movie characters of all time, the Evil Dead's Ash Williams. So today we're going to talk about the Mortal Kombat lost guest character, discuss their history, and why it fell apart. Grab your boomsticks and chainsaw hands, this is gonna be a doozy.
Fight!
Good morning, afternoon, and evening everyone, Nick here and welcome back to the channel. With Mortal Kombat's recent expansion giving us 3 new guest characters, I wanted to spend some time to talk about the one we almost got, the one that got away, Ash Groovy Bruce Campbell Williams. If you weren't in the Mortal Kombat side of the internet between 2019 to 2020, you're probably very familiar with this character's inclusion in Mortal Kombat 11. Well, this was a very rocky road, more dramatic than a CW drama. For this video, I'm going to break down a little timeline of what happened, then talk about why things had fallen through based on the information we have available. And then lastly, we'll discuss any chances or the possibility of Ash Williams ever showing up in a future Mortal Kombat title. So let's rewind the clock and go back 5 years, looking at 2019. In April of 2019, people have already started data mining Mortal Kombat 11 weeks before its launch. If you were on Twitter, it was extremely hard to avoid, as people were posting stuff everywhere. But in this big leak that came out, data miners found the Combat Pack roster, consisting of Shang Tsung, Sindel, and Nightwolf as the MK representatives, and Spawn, Terminator, and Ash Williams as the guest characters. After I found this news out, Spawn and Ash Williams were the two I completely lost it over, as they were my top picks for about 4 years now. It seemed like the Freya was out of the bag at this point. Mortal Kombat fans and horror fans were excited at this news, but some crisis communication was expected at this point. Some signs were clear, such as the DLC lineup not being announced until way after the game's launch, to even tweeting out this trying to stop the rumor mill. It wouldn't be until June 2019, Shang Tsung's gameplay trailer drops and it concludes with confirming the first 4 characters. All this confirmed is that the leaks that we had seen were pretty accurate, and many people had assumed that the Terminator and Ash Williams would be revealed next based on the trailer ending with 2 guests remaining text, with the chainsaw sound effect and music that sounds eerie similar to the Terminator theme. These 2 sound bites were strongly hinting at these 2 characters, and the leaks were really lining up with it. The internet and myself were running wild with this news. Spawn being officially confirmed for Mortal Kombat, and the potential of seeing one of the greatest horror movie icons and Arnold Schwarzenegger join the game was absolutely insane. What drove us even more insane was seeing Bruce Campbell tweeting out that he needed to check this game out, along with even pointing out that chainsaw rev. So many stars were lining up right here. Now, following this trailer, Bruce Campbell appeared on the Jim and Sam podcast promoting 2 new Evil Dead projects, and during this interview, Mortal Kombat 11 was brought up. Many people saw this as Bruce Campbell just denying the rumors because he was under an NDA and couldn't confirm anything. He instead smartly diverted to talking about the Evil Dead game in production, and that there was a new movie coming down sometime soon. Now that we're from the future, we know that this is Evil Dead the game and Evil Dead Rise. He even brings up the deconfirmation tweet and shares how he would like to see Ash Williams appear in Mortal Kombat or in other games, somewhat similar to something like Dead by Daylight, which he had appeared in 1 year prior, using that as a big example. From this point onward, consistent news really slowed down, and it wouldn't be until the end of the summer where we would get an official trailer showcasing the official full lineup of of characters. It's finally late August and the Combat Pack trailer dropped, showing off the new designs for Sindel, along with the MK revisions for the guest characters. Everyone was so excited to see what Ash Williams would look like, and after seeing Spawn in his amazing redesign, he looked to his right and we knew he would be right there, revealing Ash with
Who the fuck are you?
No. This has to be a joke. This cannot be real. You can't be joking with me like this. Yep, this is when things get really weird. A twist that nobody saw coming. The Joker from DC is revealed to be one of the two mystery guest characters, with Terminator being the second. So, why the change? And also, why does Joker look less detailed than the other characters and also kinda look like a Cornhub parody? The leaks, data mining, chainsaw teases, and Bruce Campbell constantly tweeting about Mortal Kombat seemed to point in the direction that Ash Williams would be joining in the game. Well, as time went on, things only got more interesting. Shortly after the trailer dropped and when you booted up Mortal Kombat 11, players were greeted with an in-game news update showcasing the new Combat Pack lineup with, wait, he's in the expansion now? Yeah, for some reason, Ash Williams was listed as one of the characters in Mortal Kombat 1. Again, no joke, I remember booting this up and I was just so confused looking at it. I didn't know what to believe anymore. Shortly after this came out, the game was updated again and the news update would showcase once you booted up the game, this time replacing Ash Williams with the Joker. Everyone started wondering, what is going on? Well, things didn't stop getting weird. Things only got more interesting. Several months go by and no new updates from either the Mortal Kombat team or the grooviest guy to come out of Michigan. No, not you, James A. Janice. Shortly after the final DLC character, Spawn, released, players were given a newsletter advertising his release, the contents regarding the skin packs, and all the characters who were showcased. After scrolling through all of the information, and if you were one of those people that decided to read the licensing at the bottom, you would see that Ash Williams was in there once again, this time stating it was Ash from Army of Darkness. So fans and myself started to lose it more and started to question more. So was he just being reserved now for Combat Pack 2? Were the rights being handled to just make it based off one of the movies instead of all of the Ash Williams? We really didn't know. Then about 1 month later, some more fans started data mining the game after a big update came out. At this point, more character files were being found. This time it would include Fujin, Shiva, and Ash still being in the code, so we really don't know what was going on here, but many of us were expecting the character to be revealed in the coming months. We wouldn't have to wait much longer, as in May of 2020, Mortal Kombat 11 story expansion, Aftermath, was revealed. And finally, Ash can kick Ash. No more of this weird rights and looking into the data mining to see nothing. People were just excited to find out that Ash would finally be making it into the game, and all of this is finally over.
You are under arrest, dirtbag.
We'll be asking the questions, old man. Who are you?
Aw, come on! Surprise, RoboCop, another Michigan-based guest character, was revealed instead. Though I was excited for his announcement, I still wondered what was going on behind the scenes. Something wasn't adding up and I really needed answers. Come the summer of 2020, Richard Epcar, the voice actor for Joker and Raiden, posted an Instagram live video with his wife. He stated that Bruce Campbell would be coming to Mortal Kombat 11 and that he would be included in that package.
But I would have thrown you in there. But you know, listen, somebody else did the part, so it's fine. You know, somebody else got a job. Is Bruce Campbell going to be in? Oh, that's right. Bruce Campbell will be in Mortal Kombat. That's right. He's going to be a part of the new package.
His words, not mine. Shortly after this statement, Ed Boon did some damage control, tweeting a link to a video of Epcar making the comment. Then, 1 month later, Combat Pack 2 featuring Rambo was revealed alongside Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate. At this point, this is when it seemed like it was the Game of the Year edition, kind of booking out the end of the game, and this is where I started to lose hope that Ash Williams would be joining. Then my suspicions were confirmed on July 2nd, 2021. Support for Mortal Kombat 11 has ended, and the team would be shifting their support into their next title. Both Mortal Kombat 11 and the Necronomicon were bookended, and the dreams of Ash Williams joining Mortal Kombat 11 were squashed. So, there's the painful timeline of teases, leaks, and misdirections for nearly 2 years. Now, not everything is confirmed as NDAs are still in effect, and some of the deals behind the scenes were never made public, we can still go off some information as to what happened behind the scenes following Mortal Kombat ending support. We can at least go over what we do know. So, after looking at that entire timeline and wondering what happened, you're probably feeling like Ash at this moment in the first Evil Dead movie.
Oh, you bastards! Why are you torturing me like this? Why?
Well, I'm going to be taking a deep dive at the tragic story of this tragic hero. All of the evidence that we have is either coming from interviews or some assumptions. Not everything is confirmed at the moment, so we'll have to go and guess on some of these. So, let's get right into it. Now, first off, why Ash Williams? The big reason they may have pushed to have Ash included in the game, and similar to many guest characters, is to promote something that's coming up or to tie into something that's relevant. At the time of Mortal Kombat 11's announcement at the 2018 Game Awards, the TV series Ash vs. Evil Dead concluded with its third season wrapping up earlier the same year. But around the time MKX had launched, the series had premiered and Ash was a highly requested character, even making a lot of wish lists for a potential Combat Pack 3. Similar to what they did with the Terminator, a guest character also planned to be an MKX, made their way into Mortal Kombat 11 because Dark Fate was coming out. With a rumored Evil Dead movie coming out, later being Evil Dead Rise, and the game confirmed to be in development in 2019 via the podcast with Bruce Campbell, it seemed right to include the character. Another possible change could be the inclusion of having a tragic hero instead of a bunch of villains, as Mortal Kombat's guests have been very villainous. A big conflict when it comes to getting any characters added into any game comes down to rights. Early Mortal Kombat guests had an easy workaround, as Freddy and Jason are both characters owned by New Line Cinema, which is a studio that's owned by Warner Brothers. As we entered the Mortal Kombat X era, that's when things started to get more interesting, with the execution of characters coming from rival companies, this being 20th Century Fox's Alien and Predator. But we did get some unique workarounds with characters with complicated rights, such as Leatherface just being based off the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and the Terminator just being based off the first two movies and the upcoming Dark Fate film. One complication, especially for Ash Williams, is that we need to get approval from so many different people. See, what makes Evil Dead super unique is that each one of the installments are technically owned by a different distribution company. So if they wanted to have depictions and references from every single Evil Dead movie, they need to get the reference from all of those copyright holders. Now, say what you want about the Evil Dead game, but in order to have every single era of Ash Williams playable, you needed to get the go-ahead from all of the studios that he's owned by. And let me tell you, that's not an easy task at all. Now, looking at that newsletter that I mentioned earlier in this story, it specifically said Ash from Army of Darkness. Now, this possibly could have been seen as them just going with one of the revisions of the characters and not basing it off of 2 or Ash vs. Evil Dead. And another similar character we can mention, Ghostface. What made it such a big deal to get all the cosmetics is that they had to get the go-ahead from Fun World, the company that actually owns the Ghostface mask. So they needed to get the go-ahead from both the mask company and the studios that own the Scream characters. Now, I know some people were like, well, why didn't they just stick with the Army of Darkness Ash Williams? If you're someone like me who wants to be pleased, people would really want to see Evil Dead 2 Ash fight Scorpion or the Army of Darkness Ash fight Sub-Zero. There are just a lot of steps to make this work. Now, around the time that Mortal Kombat 11 had ended development, Bruce Campbell had mentioned in a Twitter Q&A that a lot of the issues to have Ash join Mortal Kombat came down to, quote-unquote, people not playing ball. Whether it's specifically being Renaissance Pictures, Universal, Stars, etc., it's hard to get all of them on board, especially with a character like Ash, who definitely appeals to so many different generations with each iteration of the character. And speaking of not playing ball, some information finally had come to light, and what a big bulk of this complication came from was the lack of creative control and consideration from the Evil Dead creators. Apparently, Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell were not brought in during the discussion of adding Ash Williams to Mortal Kombat 11, and it went against what they wanted. Now, this is where things do get a bit speculative. The chainsaw tease and data mine were red flags from the creative team of Evil Dead. Possibly during the podcast interview with Bruce Campbell, he was being serious about Ash not being in Mortal Kombat, and a dispute was going on with Warner Brothers. Files and assets still existed, with apparently even a model being made of the character, but they were just leftovers. And to quickly make up for this overreach, the chainsaw sound in Shang Tsung's trailer became a red herring and Ash was replaced with the Joker, explaining why his model looked so, oh my god, janky, and why it took until the end of summer to get any information about the Combat Pack cast. They couldn't reveal anything due to the rights dispute and cancellation, which may have caused the odd release timing for Mortal Kombat 11's DLC characters. So, what everyone saw as teases and data mines were just Bruce Campbell being dead serious with us. Honestly, that would have been really hard to take him serious. I mean, just look at how this guy interacts with people at conventions. And data mines were just leftovers and stuff not really worked on and stuff that was just dropped. And lastly, that one tweet he did put out squashing any internet rumor, he was dead serious about. The thing that we saw is him just playing damage control to all of this. He was dead serious. Oh my god, I really need to step out for some air. All this is really getting to me. Now here comes the million-dollar question. Will Ash Williams ever cross over into Mortal Kombat? Following the Mortal Kombat 11 debacle and during the hype of MK1, Bruce Campbell has gone on record in an interview with AV Club stating he really wouldn't like to see Ash Williams make appearances in other properties as a guest character. He stated he'd rather like to see characters like Freddy, Jason, and Michael appear in Evil Dead games. Hey, so I guess Retro Realms kinda counts in that regard, right? Now the big reason of why this is because that Bruce Campbell and the team behind Evil Dead have more creative input and control over their own characters, such as how they're depicted and executed. And a big thing is that they get to make the deals with other properties if they want to be involved in the project. They are involved in the beginning of that process. Now, honestly, as sad as this makes me, Ash will probably never appear in Mortal Kombat or in any official fighting game as a guest character, as he's already retired from the on-screen portrayal of the character and switching to just voicing him. I think we're slowly getting to the point where he's going to be limited in his appearances to the point where the character might just be retired overall. But on the other end, this is more of a bittersweet ending, as he and Raimi have control over their own characters. If it was done against their will or knowledge, I honestly would have felt pretty bad. Though it sucks my favorite movie character will never clash with my favorite video game franchise, at least Evil Dead is still getting some treatment with its own video games and animated series coming soon. For now, Ash joining will forever be known as that one horror icon that got away. So, there you have a fun essay breaking down the story of Ash Williams and Mortal Kombat 11. How do you feel about Ash Williams missing out in Mortal Kombat and MK1? Do you wish he made it in, or do you not mind at all? Let me know down below and let's have a fun discussion about it. With multiple guests coming out for Mortal Kombat 1 with very interesting copyright loops, I wanted to take the time to talk about this specific character. If you'd like more essays like these down the line, please let me know. It'd be a lot of fun, and I put a lot of time into this, and I really hope you like it. We're at the end of the year, and we've got a few more rankings ready before we enter 2025. Stay tuned for more updates on my social media channels and in my community tab. Follow my pages and subscribe today to show your support. As always, thank you so much for your continuous support. My name is Nick, and
Hail to the king, baby.
Fight!